Greetings, fellow treasure hunters. Jacob Wile here,
And Tiki too.
and welcome back to Discovering DuckTales. In anticipation of the upcoming reboot, we here at So You Want to Be Imagineer are dusting off the original series in this brand new vlog. Not ponytails or contails, no, it's DuckTales.
Oh, woo!
Woo! And tonight we have Master of the Genie.
Yes, it's Genie, Jacob. It's not Genie. It's not anything weird like that. It's just simply a bizarre spelling of Genie. So, how you doing, Jacob?
Actually, yeah, I think that's the original spelling of Genie.
It could very well be. Could very well be. Well, we are breaking down DuckTales, season 1, episode 12. Jacob, we are we're hot on the trail. We're trying to catch up. I think at this point, pretty much DuckTales, the reboot, has been confirmed for summer, which is something we've already pretty much figured for a while, but a new ad just came out like, oh, summer, coming officially in summer. So, my God, we're going to try our level best to get them all done and get them all, but Jacob, I think we should try and speed up the pace a little bit. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff going on, right? Between all the stuff on TV, all the Imagineering stuff that we've been trying to do on the channel, which I appreciate your help with. And so, we're going to try and do as much as we can. We're going to try and crack a couple out tonight, Jacob, starting with Master of the Genie. So, this episode was decent. It was, of course, another Alan Zaslov's special, directed by Alan Zaslov. This episode was also written by Sam Joseph and Mene Beth Rosen. I've looked into it. I haven't seen their name in the credits so far. Maybe they'll pop up again. I'm sure they probably will. But, as we do, we like to kind of keep track of the who's who in the writer staff room. But once again, we have another Alan Zaslov episode, and it very much keeps into pretty much in the same tone and the same style as classic DuckTales. You have like kind of a globe-trotting adventure. You have some cool sci-fi elements in there. You have kind of a campy villain. Jacob, where do you want to start with this?
The part I like most is that they bring back Glomgold.
Yeah, I gotta say though, Glomgold, he's good. He's good, and I especially, what I like the best about the dynamic with Glomgold, Jacob, is that Scrooge and Glomgold ultimately, it usually seems like, at least in the times we've seen Glomgold in the past so far, and keep in mind the show's very new, going through the episodes, but one of the things I've noticed, Jacob, a recurring thing, tell me if I'm wrong about this, is it seems like every time Scrooge and Glomgold get together, there's some big catastrophe that kind of forces them to work together.
And I've noticed, like, maybe in these early episodes that is the case, but I noticed I have watched ahead, and there are a lot of times when they do work against each other, act quite proactively.
I mean, yeah, I definitely see that, but at the same time, I think it's interesting that there's a mutual respect for each other underneath it all when situations are really, when stakes are really at their highest.
Right. Well, I can't really say they were working together majority of this episode, though.
Well, no, but at the same time, I mean, especially when all the time travel stuff goes down, they are kind of forced to kind of lay their hands on the table and be like, okay, we're in. Yeah, this is weird. We should probably figure out how to get out of this.
Yeah.
So, Jacob, one of the things I want to mention and kind of keep track of is this is the first DuckTales thing to be based off of the concept of a genie in a lamp. I haven't really gone through and done my research to see if there's any others throughout the course of the series. But, of course, we also have DuckTales, the movie, Treasure of the Lost Lamp, with, the great Christopher Lee as a villain in that one. Or, I'm sorry, Christopher Lloyd is a villain in that one. And so Dragon, that genie in Treasure of the Lost Lamp was okay. He was fun. He was lovable for the most part. Oh my God, this one doesn't stand a chance of beating the Robin Williams genie. This guy's a douchebag, man.
He is indeed.
Oh my God. And I also notice his voice very much has like an Edwin lisp to it too. That amused me.
It's actually closer to a lot of classical mythology of genies, where they turn their wishes upon their masters, and they're quite tricky.
Which, in a way, is kind of what they did to Jafar at the end, right? Especially with the "I wish to be a genie" thing.
Yep, that's pretty much the whole idea. Genies were known to sometimes be either malevolent or benevolent creatures.
Which is why when Disney does their inevitable live action remake, I want Jonathan Banks, aka Mike from Breaking Bad, to play just a curmudgeony ancient version of the Genie, who's just like very, very cranky.
That's hilarious.
10,000 years, kid. It's given me such a crook in the neck. Phenomenal cosmic powers. Itty bitty little living space. All right, you get it. You get it. We love Mike. Anyways, Jacob, I'm gonna have to give the MVP of the episode award to Mr. Duckworth.
Oh yeah, he has to put up with a lot in this episode.
Just every time Duckworth is peeved, but really trying his best to keep his professional demeanor, it's just like the animation is just great. You know, it's very good at comic facial animation on Duckworth right there in those scenes. It's really wonderful.
He doesn't even just say a word. He's he's know exactly what he's thinking. Like, I have to put up with this.
And the Genie is just, treating him like crap. He's just like, oh, very good, Duckworth, my dear man. He's just being like super like condescending to Duckworth, like, oh, there, fetch another drink, Duckworth. I mean, the Genie doesn't really have a British accent, but you know what I mean.
And even Scrooge doesn't do that to Duckworth.
Well, right, exactly. And that's one of the things, Dragon, that really kind of makes Duckworth into like one of the hidden stars of DuckTales in general for me. I brought this up before, but Dragon, Jacob, I absolutely love the mutual respect that Duckworth and Scrooge have for each other, and how Duckworth like goes out of his way to protect the name of Scrooge McDuck. And you'll see this through various points in the series, but it's absolutely one of my favorite kind of reoccurring traits with Duckworth.
Yeah, I do see that. Like, he respects me. I'm trying to say that. What you just said. He respects Scrooge. He respects his job, and no, Scrooge isn't really that bad of a guy.
Mm-hmm. You know what else is it?
But the Genie almost pushes him over the edge.
Yeah, a little bit. And who could blame him? Who could blame him, man? I mean, could you imagine, like, okay, Jacob, I know I know you work as a cashier. Could you imagine if this Genie asshole just came into your store one day and started just like, oh, that will be all, Jacob, good sir. I'll just have another Mountain Dew on your behalf. Oh, yes.
Yeah, that'd be.
Just started hanging out and eating all the merchandise and just like not paying for anything. Oh God.
That would suck.
It'd be King George from Hamilton. Oh, Jacob, my dear lad, I've just come to steal your candy. Tra-la-la-la-la.
Yeah, Jesus.
Okay.
Probably a good thing this guy can't sing, though.
Yeah, probably.
I do like how they actually ended up beating him, though.
Yeah, with the time travel, we'll get into all that for sure. The time travel was a really cool element of the plot, I think.
Well, no, I mean, like, they didn't actually beat him with the time travel. They inadvertently, it was when it was at the end, though. But I mean, if you want to discuss that, like, it was when Glomgold wished Scrooge on an island and wished he could see it, and he set up there too.
And I just love the look on the Genie's face, like, oh, you stupid idiot. Your wish is my command.
And then I wish I'd never found this lamp.
Yeah, and when he wishes that he never found the lamp, Jacob, that's what I'm talking about when it comes to the time travel. I love that moment when, when it goes back to the earlier opening of the episode when Scrooge gets in the cave in, but the lamp now is kind of like, just off to the side and not visible, and so no one picks it up. That is really cool storytelling to me when you can wind your way back to the opening of the episode in a really cool way.
And the way he says, "Is anyone out there?"
Yeah.
Kind of a little dark humor right there. Like he pretty much just granted a wish that made himself go back in.
At least he doesn't have to live in that lamp with Gilbert Gottfried, though. I mean, that is one plus. Although I don't know, man. If it were me, I've grown to really appreciate Gilbert Gottfried's like abrasive stand-up style. I'd actually probably get used to it and enjoy it for what it is.
especially when he's not evil.
Right. Like, hey, Gilbert, let's hear another riff on Hollywood culture. Well, you see, the thing about Hollywood culture that really pisses me off is. All right, you can. I mean,
It's a good thing you can't do it.
After a while. That'd be fun after a while.
Yeah, I don't know how not many people can do an impression of his voice.
It's difficult. You know that I have one word that I can do really well in his voice. You know what? You want to know what it is?
What?
Affleck.
I actually once saw a video of him reading 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh yes, that is good. That is good. Random bit of trivia. I remember sitting in a movie theater and then a trailer for a Ben Affleck movie came up, and someone in the crowd, like two seats in back of me, like 2 rows in back of me, started just yelling like Affleck. I'm sorry.
Oh Jesus.
Okay, you know who isn't totally useless this episode, Jacob?
What happened?
Webby. Webby is not totally useless.
Yeah. I mean, like, he actually does help out in this episode.
Yeah, she does. And she kind of like, you see, this is the kind of Webby that I like, where she's using her, her cutesy factor, but kind of playing a trick with it. You know what I mean? Like manipulating people with it. And that's kind of what I hope we see more of in the new show. But I really like how it's played off here. It's like she's just being so like, like diabetes inducingly sweet. You know what I mean? She's just like, oh, Mr. Genie. I mean, I can't do the voice, but like, oh, I mean you some milk and cookies while you watch the late night news. Just like the sweetest, like most innocent thing. And then it's all just a ruse. It's all just a ruse. So that was well played. That was well played.
Yeah, so she does it. What exactly does she do other than that? I mean, I kind of skipped over a few details.
I think it's mostly that she distracts him, although there might be something in the milk and cookies or something. I don't know.
Well, I think it's like she distracts them while they get the lamp or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exact. Oh no. What she does, I'm sorry, Jacob. What she does is she starts kind of acting like a brat, kind of being like, like, oh, I bet you couldn't fit in that lamp. I bet not. You're way too big, and basically just daring him to.
He's not one to pass up a challenge.
And you know what? That's a Webby I can get behind, man, because that is Webby being put to a practical use and not just there to sell plush toys. So more of that, Webby, please. All right, let's see. The one part of this episode, Jacob, that I'm honestly kind of flabbergasted about is the whole, like, I like the payoff to the time travel stuff where time kind of resets itself. I don't like when Scrooge and Glomgold go back in time, really. I think it kind of just jumbles up the whole story.
Yeah, it really didn't make a lot of sense.
No, it really doesn't.
It made a lot more sense if they're just like stuck in a time loop and had to get out of it, kind of like a Groundhog's Day kind of thing.
And I like that premise a lot. I wish they would have or either that, or maybe mix that premise with just kind of like the around the world in 80 days, like maybe seeing more of Scrooge and Glomgold's actual race, because that's a really fun concept for for an episode. It's just Scrooge and Glomgold racing around the world.
And the genie trying to stop them.
Sure. So, yeah, by all means, Dragon. I'm sorry. By all means, Jacob. I'm kind of flabbergasted with the whole like the side trip into the the time of the Arabian Nights and whatnot. It just, like I said, it just very much overcomplicates things.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the whole concept and the payoff of it. It just seemed kind of unnecessary.
Yeah, like I said, the thing that we got out of it that was really cool was that we got the whole like time time resetting itself with the lamp and everything, and that was really cool. It's just this let's see, this storyteller woman
Scheherazade?
Shahrazad. It looks like Shabazad in the spelling, but
Could be. I don't know. That's what I thought it was.
I'm just looking at the spelling of on
I
Wikipedia. It looks like Shahbazad.
mean, that's what it was. That's her name traditionally, Scheherazade.
Scheherazade. All right. Well, let's go with you. Let's go with you, Jacob. You probably know more than I do. So
I don't know. I'm just going by the actual. I'm just going by the actual Arabian Nights story.
right. So, like you said, it's kind of interesting that they work in the Arabian Nights into this episode. It's just, I almost feel like go halfway with it, right? Like either do the race or do the Aladdin stuff.
I mean, in a way, it makes sense because Aladdin literally was part of the 1001 Nights story. But that's actually it was just one of her stories, not entirely separate thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So now, correct me if I'm wrong. This is a woman that actually compiled the Arabian Nights stories.
Well, that's like well, according to the story, yes, it's like a story where a woman tells 1001 stories to belay her death.
Okay, that's really interesting. Then I actually really, now that you put it like that, I actually really appreciate. Like,
I don't know
that's cool. I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, that's the original story. I don't think that's what it was in this episode, though.
I kind of wish they would have gone a little farther with it and actually explored something like that in this episode then, because that would have made for a really cool kind of pull from mythology. And I feel like when this show does kind of do that kind of stuff, like does actually pull from mythology and whatnot, is really when the show's at its best. So
I mean, they could have like turned that into an episode of itself.
Oh yeah, they definitely could have, which is why her whole subplot feels like it's kind of crammed in there, because I almost feel like they wanted her to get an episode of to herself, but then we had this other Glomgold storyline and the Genie thing, and it just all got over convoluted. I don't know. Of course, one thing to mention is that we get the famous moment from the opening of Glomgold and Scrooge both going after the lamp.
Of course.
And I like the design of Glomgold's pelican bodyguard.
I do like how Scrooge like actually convinces them to turn on Glomgold, just like do you really think he'd share it with you?
Mm-hmm.
Like Scrooge using his classic wits.
Oh yeah.
Like he always says, smarter than the smarties and tougher than the toughies.
And that is about it, Jacob. I think we've kind of run the gauntlet on things to say about this. Overall, I'd say this episode kind of sags in the middle, but it does have a good beginning. It has a good payoff. I would actually say the villain in the Genie is kind of more memorable than someone like Sarkis, aka Suckus. Sorry. But seriously, I actually do kind of like this Genie character as a villain because he's not outwardly like evil. He's more just like a selfish asshole who doesn't realize he's being a selfish asshole. Well, for the most part,
I think he actually does realize he's being a selfish asshole.
Well, yeah, I was about to say until he starts like, I think he doesn't realize like I think when it first starts he doesn't get his plan. I think like as the episode goes on and he realizes that with the mansion. Yeah.
As they realize that this guy made them take care of me, so what if I keep them forever?
Yeah, so like I said, overall, probably a better like standalone one-off villain than we usually see here. Whereas Glomgold, I feel, is definitely like a rival to Scrooge, but he's not a full-on antagonist in this episode. But I more feel like he's there just to add a bit of tension.
Still probably not good of a one-off villain as Armstrong, though.
No, Armstrong is definitely the standard so far. Yeah, you're right about that. But any final thoughts on this one, Jacob?
Listen, I wonder if he ever crossed paths with Murloc.
Who, the Genie?
This Genie. I wonder if you ever heard of Murloc.
That's a good question. Perhaps. Okay.
The world may never know.
Jacob, we are going back to, we're actually going to use two familiar faces this time. We have Alan Zaslav in the director's chair for episode 13, as well as Richard Merwin, who got his start on episode 11, writing Machka's Shadow War. Those two are going to team up for Hotel Strange Duck. Now, Tregan, whenever I read this title, I get kind of excited because I just think like I see Ludwig von, and I'm just like Von Drake. It's like no, Von Strange Duck. I'm like, oh, no Von Drake.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do think Von Drake does appear in the series eventually. Like,
I'm
at
sure
least
he does. I'm sure he does. Yeah, I know he's in there somewhere. So, okay, so yeah, very excited to talk about that one as we go through. Hoping to go through. Get to the 20s, get to the 30s, crack it all out. Let's see, Jacob. We're trying to see. We're only about, well, roughly about 25 or so episodes away from the next 5-parter. So there's that. I don't know, man. I don't know. This might be a little hard to get this all done by the summer, but we'll see. We'll do the best we can.
well, if we could do like we could still continue doing 2 episodes a night, that could get things done quite a bit faster.
That's true. That's true. So we'll try and crack things out as productively as we can. Like I said, though, it's just like we're balancing a lot on this channel right now between the Marvel stuff. Bates Motel is going to come back at the end of February, and then
Stars comes back at the beginning of February.
Oh my god! I completely fucking forgot about that. Oh, dude, we've got our work cut out for us when it comes to Star, man. We better buckle up. Oh god.
Considering there's a half episode every weekday.
Oh my god. I mean, I am both excited about that, just considering the the amount of conversation we'll get out of that. But yeah, at the same time, that's going to be work. That's going to be a lot of work for us. Like, that is going to be one of the times I consider this a job, as much as I enjoy talking about new episodes of Star. So, but yeah, folks, we'll try to get this out as quickly as we can. And of course, Jacob, we also have Imagineering stuff coming down the pipeline as well. So lots of exciting stuff happening. But in the meantime, Jacob, why don't you take us out?
All right. Well, tonight's adventure has come to an end. But be sure to join us in next time on Discovering DuckTales.
Oh, Duckworth, my dear fellow.